Good day, good afternoon, everyone, and good day, good morning, good evening, depending where you are calling from. And I want to quickly ask, how are we doing today? If I'm loud and clear, please can I get a thumbs up just to let me know that I'm very much audible. Thank you, Amotola. Thank you, Ade. That's brilliant. So in the course of the week, I think I've had like two or three people reach out to me with regards to, either I'm applying for jobs, I'm not getting calls, or maybe, I just applied for this job and, miraculously I got a call for interview and, I think I need to book your time and all of that cool stuff. And I'm like, okay, let's see what we can do. Just a sneak peek. Again, I want us to be very clear that the intention of these sessions is first and foremost, I'm very, very open, and that's the way I really want it to be, especially if you're in the WhatsApp group. Either you want to message me directly or you want to message in the forum to say, hey, Michael Boyo, can we discuss a particular topic? Please, that's the intention. It's not for me to come out here and just come and say whatever I want to say. No, it's for the benefit of the community, not me, right? So please, I want to emphasize that that's something we should be open to do. Either you want to connect with me personally, or you want to just write it in the forum. That's fine. Now, having said that, I just felt let's take a sneak peek into, what does these interview sessions, what do they even look like? What do you do? And this is just a sneak peek once again. Now, while I try to take quick comments from the audience, I want to quickly put this on the screen as, and I think somebody will be putting this in the chat. Since most of us will have our phones, you might as well scan that QR code. If you are not yet a member of the community, you can scan that QR code to join. Please also, all our sessions that we have on weekends are all on our YouTube channel. So please, I'm asking that, visit the YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, share the videos, so that we continue to grow the community, so that we don't have more people like Ofonime that would say that, he wasn't happy that people didn't tell him about it. So this is me now sending you as ambassadors, right, to your own network. If you cannot do that for us, then it just begs the question, then what are we doing here, right? So I'm asking that if we can do that. Again, we have our LinkedIn page. Also, follow us on LinkedIn. Let's keep growing the community. And I'm very much open, especially if you're in the WhatsApp group, throw in anything there that you think we should be doing or connect with me directly. I'm very open to that. Now, having said that, we can quickly jump into what we are doing here today. So I'm going to quickly talk about confidence. Now, so I'm going to first start off with the question. We all know, so I'm not going to go into like, oh, what are interviews and all of that. No, we are all professionals, and we all know, well, we've either been in interviews or we are hoping to get interviews, right? So the first thing I want to address here is confidence. What do we mean by confidence, and why does it matter in interviews? So this is a question, and anybody can respond. Raise up your hand and I will call your name so that you can respond. Hello. No one is talking.
Please, can you take the question again?
I'm saying, so just what's on screen. Why does confidence matter in interviews? Confidence. Okay, Ade.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I would say confidence is that unwritten attribute on your resume that further convinces your audience or your interviewer that you are really who you are on paper. Now, I want to sound this caveat that most times we exude confidence, even when we are not confident. So I think one layer I want to put it in there. Okay, let me stop there. No, because I know you.
I like, oh my goodness, Ade. You exude confidence even when you are not confident. I'm going to take that away, and I'm going to stop there as well. Ah, my goodness, that's really interesting. You need to teach me how you do that, though. But thanks for your response. Anyone else?
Yeah,
Often,
also to add there, confidence is in a way like she said, faking it while trying to make it. In a way that you you have already accepted is an interview. It's not a do or die affair. You have prepared very well and you have burned the candle, hoping and having faith that whatever question is thrown at you is what you have prepared or you are able to answer. And even though you are not able to answer it 100%, you are sure that you have an idea or you can share a scenario idea that may be very close to what they are. Just like you said yesterday about going to an interview, a software you didn't know, but you had to learn. I'm sure you went to that interview with a full with a confidence, knowing that you have gotten knowledge about this software, despite the fact that you didn't have an answer. And you said when you were asked, you were bold enough to say that you have not worked with a software that is based on knowledge. That's a very typical example of confidence.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I was on mute. I had to unmute. Oh, funny, man. That's I'm even trying to like, okay, you said that's what I said yesterday, and I'm thinking, where did I say that, right? But no, yeah, I got it. And no, that's brilliant. And I like the way you put it that, knowledge breeds confidence. I think that's what you're trying to say. Because you can't say you don't know something and you just want to manufacture confidence, right? It's going to be challenging. You can be deceitful, and man, and that's why I was like, when Ade said you can exude confidence, but you're not confident. I think in that way, you are the only one that you know that you're not confident. The person that is looking at you may not know that you're not confident, but you're exuding confidence. Okay. Now, let's take confidence, right? And I'm going to push in another concept. Confidence conveys competence. And I think that's what Ofon was trying to put across. It conveys competence and positivity because even when okay, let's put it this way. Even when you go back in time, when you were in school, when you were in college, we have very brilliant students, but they are very timid, introverts. They don't even talk. You ask them a question, they don't even know how to put the words together. But put them in an examination hall, what happens? They score 95% plus. Can someone bear witness with that? But when you ask them question on the street, they're like, they can't even put the words together, right? So confidence conveys competence and positivity. And you want that to be the kind of vibe that you are throwing across when you are in that interview, right? You don't want a situation whereby somebody is not seeing you as competent. And that's why I really like what Ofonime said, that even when you don't know something, you are going into an interview, that role is going to be about a particular application that you've not worked with. Do you go in there and they say, what experience do you have in this application? And you just say, I don't have any experience. Is that really what you're going to go say in there? Or rather, you want to take the bull by the horn, take responsibility, and go and find whatever you can find on the internet about that application so that at least you have a theoretical working knowledge of that application. And if Bush comes to shove, you can even say in the interview to say that, you know what, even though I've not used this application before, but I've since become abreast of the nuances, of the benefits, of the value, or what the application is actually set out to accomplish. And you can articulate that. Okay. It allows you to communicate your skills effectively. That's what for you. Interviewers remember candidates who show confidence. Now, I've come off in interviews as in, well, this is not arrogant. Even the way I say things that I may not know a lot about, the way I say it, oftentimes people think I come out as arrogant. And I've had a hiring manager say, Mike, you sound arrogant. And I said, no, it's not arrogance. I'm coming from a place of knowledge and I'm exhibiting the concept of self belief. And he said, what does that mean? And I said, thank you. I said, self belief is a higher level of self confidence. I said, self confidence is the way you want people to see you. That's self confidence. And that's why what Ade said was on point, that you can exude confidence, but it may not necessarily mean you are confident. I know it's difficult to explain, but you need to at least exude it, come across as a confident person. I said, but there's a point where confidence would break down. And that's where self belief kicks in. What is self belief? Self belief is you believing in your ability to deliver, even when at the present moment you may not have the capability. Is that making sense? So you believe in yourself to the extent that even though you've not worked on this application, but you believe in yourself based on the theoretical knowledge that you've gained before the interview, and by the way you articulate yourself during the interview, and believing in yourself that you can catch up, learn when you are given the job, that's self-belief. And he said, oh, okay. I said, yes. I believe in myself. And I tell people that no one has the right to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. Because it doesn't mean anything. Yes, please, Dami.
I've had the opportunity of interviewing with someone, and he asked me of my knowledge of a particular, software, and I told him, even though that's not what we use in our organization, but I'm willing to learn about it, and within the next few weeks, I will, I will catch up. Now, what he told me almost threw me off, but he said, "Well, fine, I like your response, but is that you know or you don't know?" And as it is now, you don't know that software, so it might not really speak well in your favor. So that kind of that kind of threw me back a bit. So I don't know, what can you say about that?
No, thank you very much for that, Dami. So let me hear from others. I want somebody else to respond to you before I say anything. Anyone, please?
I think Dami has his hand up.
Oh, yeah, Dami, go ahead. Is that an old or a new hand? I think it's an old hand. So does anyone want to respond to what Dami just said? Okay. So Dami,
Hello. Hello.
yeah, Daniel, please go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, I just have a little background issue here, but I'll just quickly speak now. It depends on how you present the matter. Now, if you say you know something and you stop at that, or you have a knowledge of something and you just stop at that, I will kind of not give you that opportunity. But where I am telling you that yes, I have not used this software before. However, I have a knowledge of it. Now I have used it for XYZ. I list what I have used it to do in my own personal little project. And I tell you the advantages, disadvantages, and the outcome of that project and how I present that to you. You will kind of give me some kind of okay. Because if I just tell you, yes, I've used it before, or yes, I have a knowledge of it, and I stop there, you have not said anything, you have not convinced me. But if I give you the features and what it can do, and all the advantages and all the disadvantages and the outcome, I believe you have to calm down and say, okay, I think I can give this guy a trial. At least he has a fair idea. If I give him opportunity, I believe with 1 week, 2 weeks, he should be able to wrap his head around this if he knows all of this in theory. That is my contribution. Thank you.
Sorry, mute. Okay, so Ofonime, since you asked the question, let's is there somebody else raising up their hand? Okay, So people are just joining. Okay, you want to add something? So thank you,
Yeah.
that. So sorry, Ofonime before you. So Daniel, I'm not sure whether you are getting along with what Ofonime is not saying something you know that you want to exemplify that you know it, but truly you don't know the app. So you can't really say you how you've used it somewhere, except you also want to just wing it, which you can, right? But you better know what you are saying. So I'm just trying to clarify. I don't know whether you want to quickly respond to that.
I wasn't the one that asked the question. I just wanted to add to what Daniel said in terms. Can I
Oh,
go?
it was Dami that asked the question. My
Yeah.
bad. I'm sorry. Okay.
So
Okay,
Dami
so let's
can,
hear you.
or should I go ahead?
No, no, you go ahead so that Dami would wrap it up at the end.
Okay, also to add to what Daniel has said, I think it's the same situation that made me discover Salesforce. I never knew of Salesforce before. I did boot camp for project management, and after then, I was powered to apply for project management roles. I was still back in Nigeria. I had an interview that said project Salesforce knowledge. I just went and read that it was a CRM. During the interview, they asked me some questions about Salesforce in which I wasn't able to defend. All the, when you're preparing for interview, I was just trying to say I'm a fast learner, I will learn, blah, blah. I didn't know that Salesforce was that deep. So it depends on if you have been given opportunity for you to prepare or you had about this particular software or domain area and you have taken time to prepare. You shouldn't just answer like you have um, a fair knowledge of it. You should show and prove that you have really acquired the knowledge. Only the practical or hands-on remain, which depending on the interviewer, the person may want to give you opportunity knowing that what you have said uh, are really in line and it just need to be put through for you to really become skilled.
No, thank you very much, Ofoni man. I agree completely with you. That you need to be on top of your game and exemplify way more than even what you yourself know that you know. And that's where articulation comes in, and we're talking about confidence here that goes hand in hand with that. So thank you very much. Abdul, you have your hand up.
Yes, sir. Everything that has been said before now is very valid. I just want to add that it also depends on the company. It depends on where they are at in terms of do they have a project they want to kickstart and they need somebody who is skilled in that area to hit the ground running. If that's not the case, some companies kind of just give you that leeway if you don't have an experience in that particular maybe domain. They give you time to learn and catch up, and that's it. They just soak you all in. So it all on the company where you're at, and if there's room to allow you to learn for those things. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Abdul. So what you're saying, Abdul, is ab initio, you shouldn't be applying for a role that you don't think you have the capability to do, right? So we're not saying you're a lawyer and you're applying for a medicine, or maybe something else. So that's not what we are saying here. We are expecting that you're already like 70, 80%, capable. Is the outlier of the 15, 20, 25% that we're now saying, oh, okay, you need to figure out how you're going to close that gap. So I'm not here encouraging anybody to say, oh, confidence is everything you need. No. But we are saying that, you should at least have about 80, 85% of what it takes for you to articulate yourself and present your skills for that particular role before you even go into the interview. So that's the premise upon which I'm working here. And I hope that is clear and, agreeable to, to most of us here. Thank you, Abdul. Okay. Now, next, it creates a strong first impression and improves performance. Like they say, first impression matters a lot, right? So you want to be able to want to be that person that they will remember. Did you hear what that guy was saying? Did you hear how he was speaking? How he articulated him or herself, or even the things you were bringing to the table. So here we're not talking about the content. That's a separate conversation. We're talking about the delivery. And that's why I do tell people, ask me anything, whether I know it or I don't know it. More often than not, you will still be pleased with my response. You may agree with that or not. I'm not asking a question. Now, but what that means again is that it's predicated on the basis of me having broad knowledge about a lot of things. I repeat that, broad knowledge about a lot of things. I may not be an expert in a lot of things, but I have a working knowledge of a lot of things, right? And that's what I encourage people, that knowledge would be a differentiator in the workplace. When I was working in Europe, I was one out of about 300 employees working in a telecom conglomerate brand. And so everybody in the company knew me. Everybody knew Michael. I was the only colored person in the organization, and I was in IT. Now, before long, again, thanks be to God, it got to a point whereby people would say, have you spoken to Mike? Try and run this by Mike and just pick his brain. And again, I was in a foreign country, right? So this is not back home in Nigeria or whatever. And people will literally, stand behind my chair, somebody from the database teams, another person from the developer team, and they are literally standing behind me and just wanting to pick my brain. There was even a day someone just laughed and said, why is everybody always standing around Michael's seat? And I just laughed. They said, because Michael would always have an opinion on almost everything. Now, again, I'm not saying this out of, whatever, not pride or arrogance, but I'm just saying that when you have knowledge, it doesn't matter the color of your skin. You could say there are a bit of caveat, but what I'm trying to say is that knowledge is a differentiator in the marketplace. Can I have somebody give an example where they've experienced this? So that it's not like as if I'm just saying something from planet Mars. Can somebody corroborate what I just said? Anyone? Hello? Hello? Thumbs up, right? Okay, I'll take that for now. All right, let's move on. Pre-interview confidence building techniques. So this is not even the interview, pre-interview. One, research the company. So I've done myriads of interview preps, right? And I'm not the one interviewing for the role, but as part of me preparing for that interview prep with the candidate, even I research the company, right? So when we come into an interview prep and we ask a basic question, why do you want to work for this company? And you are telling me, oh, sorry, I never researched on that. Are you freaking kidding me right now? I said, why do you think that you will not be asked that question, and why shouldn't you be prepared for that question? The company is theirs, right? They want to bring you in. Wouldn't you think that, oh, they want to know what you think about them or how you yourself have taken the time to value their core values? So you need to research the company. You need to understand their culture. And if there are any major projects they are working on, you should be able to call it out. I've had people go to interviews and we had prepped on issues around even emotional issues with the company. And the person brought a story. So this company was companies that do a lot of non-government, non-profit projects in third world countries. And one of the things we had prepped was that you are going to tell a story how when you were young, a non-governmental, non-profit organization came to your village in response to a water pandemic that happened in your village due to waterborne diseases. And that organization came to your village and they put in multiple wells in order to provide clean water for the people in your village, in that community. We prepped that story, and she went ahead to repeat that story in the interview, and it was one of the things that she was able to use to connect with the interviewer until tomorrow. If I mention the person's name, some of you here know that person. That person is not far from you, right? And that was what we did. You need to understand the cultural values, the projects, what the organization is doing, right? Practice common interview questions. If we have to go into all of the interview questions, that's another session by itself. There are common interview questions. Don't ask me what are they. You can Google that up. Now, if you're not asking me how exactly do we respond to those common questions, then that's something else, right? We might need to have a sit down to talk about that. Okay. So, having said that, you want to practice common interview questions. 3, visualize a successful interview outcome. What does this even mean? Can I get somebody to talk about this? Visualize a successful interview outcome. Hello? Yeah. Let's take Precious. Oh, Precious, you're on mute. Let me see. If you are talking, you're on.
Oh, apologies, please. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Mike, for this opportunity.
You're welcome.
Um, I would say this is you going in with this mental attitude that you already have this job, regardless of what kind of interview it is, be it first stage, second stage. But you going in with this mental attitude, like, I got this. They want me. I'm the one suitable for this job. I think going in with that attitude or mental note sometimes boosts your confidence, like you said earlier, what we started with. Yeah. And then it kind of encourages your performance because you feel like I'm the best thing after bread and butter, right? And then that kind of um exude in a way you respond to the questions, in the way you present yourself. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. That's what I feel what you're asking us. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. I agree with you. Thank you. Ade. Ade, I thought you had your hand up. Did you want to say something?
Yes, I dropped it when you
Oh,
called me Precious. Yeah, let
sorry, I
me drop.
wasn't looking at the chat.
No, no, it's okay. So
Okay.
I was going to say that just similar to Precious, having the mentality that you've already, you are the right candidate. But the layer I will add is while this at times tends more towards self-psych, which is good, please make sure you bedrock it against proper preparedness. We can psych ourselves to the moon and back. It is good. It's good for that balance, but also layer it with good preparation, research, and leave everything to, okay, I've done my part. Now it is now the world playing to the gallery, playing to my goalpost. Just striking that balance.
Thank you very much, Ade. Another wonderful contribution. Dami.
I was going to say something pertaining to this. So I had an interview some days ago. I prepared about the interview. I'd read about the organization, done my due diligence and everything, and it's an organization that speaks to my own, my background, my passion, healthcare, and all that. And the first question came. Answered. The second one came, I answered. By the time the man asked me the third question, he said, "What do I know about rote mindedness?" I'm like, "What do you mean by that?" Like, rote mindedness. I said, "Well, I might not really know, but I have an idea, and this is the idea I have." And he said, "Okay." So I gave him the idea I have. Either I'm right or either I'm wrong. I'm not sure. But it was after the interview that I now went back to Google, because that question was not in the job description. It was nothing about their culture. It was nothing about their values. Nothing at all. The question just came out of the blues. And I found out that what he was actually asking me is about the mindset of memorizing something and bringing out the knowledge of what you have by memorization. So so thinking in retrospect, I think what that interviewer was kind of asking me, or what he was implying, is that it's as if I have memorized all the culture, the values, and everything about that company. And as he was asking me, I was talking as if I had memorized it. You know, so in trying to prepare for an interview, trying to learn about the culture and everything, sometimes we might have to memorize their culture, memorize everything. But in memorizing, the interviewer might know that this guy actually memorized this thing, and sometimes it might be good on our part, it might be bad on the part. What do you have to say to that, please, Michael?
So thank you, Dami. And I'm trying to, John, do you want to respond first?
Yes, thank you.
Okay,
So
thank
I
you.
think memorization is not bad, right? I mean, it's not your dad or mom that creates the company. So, and so I want to apply to your organization. It even shows that you are one step ahead to try understand what the organization do. So whichever interviewer want to take that against you, either does not know what they as an organization need. So in terms of this context of knowing the organization, if it sound robotic or it sound being memorized, that's nobody should hold that against you. But where you can say there's an issue is if we are talking about the job itself, the job description, and it sound robotic, or the answer is like, I mean, they are not, you don't have some instance or examples that you want to, that you use to back up your response, then it's justifiable for any interviewer to say it sound memorized. That is, I can't feel what you are saying. But if it's in the context of knowing the organization, I sound like I memorize it. Yes, it's possible that if it's even physical interview at the entrance, I see your motto, your vision, and I cram it. Yes, it's allowed. So that's just what I want to quickly add. Thank you.
Absolutely on the money. Thank you, John. I don't think I would have said it better. So I will just move on. I think that actually nails it on the head. As long as you can articulate, perhaps maybe I don't know whether you were reading off a script, Dami, and it came off like you were reading, because that's something you don't want to ever, when you're doing a presentation and somebody just is able to decipher that you were actually reading off a script. That doesn't, come out good at all, right?
No, I wasn't reading at all. No, I wasn't
Okay,
reading it.
that's
And I didn't cram it. I mean, I internalized the culture
yeah.
and everything, but he just asked me that questions out of the blues.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I would say you shouldn't feel bad. Again, you don't know where he's coming from as well, right? We can only know to the extent to what we heard the person say, right? But apart from that, you don't know. So he might have a bias of some sort that we can't even get into right now. So you just take it as it comes, and you just keep getting better at your craft. Okay. Thank you for that question, though. Now, in the days of, prior to COVID, we still do a lot of in-person interviews. So we want to prepare your attire, the logistics, to reduce any last-minute stress. There are even instances where, especially, most of us are used to Zoom, right? I think Zoom, I mean, again, I stand to be corrected. Zoom's share price went off the roof during COVID, right? So most of us are familiar with Zoom. At times they throw a Teams invite, and you're like, oh my goodness, how do I join a Teams call? Don't leave it till the last minute and then you start scrambling. You now realize, oh, I don't have Teams on my laptop. because Teams comes with a Microsoft suite, right, of apps. Or I don't have Teams on my phone. How are you going to join the Teams call, right? It's not Google Meet that you can just click, boom, you enter. So always ensure that you are able to join that call without any stress. Use breathing exercise if you have to, to calm your nerves. Interviews can, go great. Interviews can become quickly very stressful. Interviews can just go south. I remember what someone used to say, that he always has a glass of water with him when he's at an interview. And he says this is how he uses it. If he's asked a question and he realizes he needs to think this one through before he says anything, he just takes the cup of water and he sips it just to kind of buy himself like an extra 10 seconds. That's brilliant, in my opinion. That's his own way of calming his nerves, right? So do whatever you need to do as long as it remains legitimate, it remains true, it's not just weird, right? You don't want to be doing funny stuff on screen. Okay. All right. Now, preparing for common interview questions. Hmm. So let's throw this open now. What are common interview questions? Let anybody can talk. Common interview questions.
Tell us about yourself.
Great. To Mello, good to see you here. Okay, that's
Thank
one.
you.
Anyone else? Abdul, you just finished the interview weeks ago, right? You're still onboarding. Eh? What did they hit you with? I'm listening. Anyone? Yeah, Precious.
Okay, common interview questions. At least for the most part, most of the interviews I've attended, the first stage now, tell me about yourself. Can we get to know you? Why do you want to work for us? What do you know about what we do? Or what do you know about our company? Can you walk me through a project you've done? What were the challenges? How did you overcome it in that line? Let me stop there to give room for
No,
others.
no, that's absolutely on point. Yeah, you gave us not one, but quite a few. Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
Um, so anyone else? I think okay, has Hawa. I hope I got that right.
Yes, another question I've gotten most often, quite often, would be how does your education and experience, how does your education and your experience match this role that you've applied for? And also questions around maybe conflicts in work and how you handled it.
Okay. All right. You know what I'm gonna no, and I appreciate all of that. So if you guys just give me like a minute here, I'm gonna try get into one of our interview prep sessions just to see how we kind of looked at a question, one of those questions. And I just want us to use that. We'll spend like the next like 10 minutes to just get into it and let's see what that can look like for a candidate. So just bear with me here. I need to get into my Google Drive and get this going. Okay. Is somebody raising their hand? Because I'm looking at something else now. I'm not looking at the call list right now. So okay. So
Since your hand is up, maybe you can
whose hand
speak.
is up? If your hand is up,
Or
please go ahead and speak.
Hi everyone. My hand is not up, but I have
Okay.
something to
Yeah, please.
add.
Okay, you want to
Yeah.
say something? Yeah, please go
Yeah,
ahead.
I just wanted to add to like when preparing for interviews and all of that, one of the things that I always do, and when I started doing it, I know that it has been very helpful to build my confidences. When practicing, I record myself So that does not only help with building my confidence. So I sort of like wear the actual, and I saw that as part of the points listed, like your attire. I wear the actual clothes I'm gonna wear for the interview. I put on my lights if I need to. Why? Because sometimes you go into an interview and you didn't even realize that maybe the light in the room where you are is not even sufficient enough for that video call. And then it's almost like the interviewer can barely see your face. So if the light in the room is not enough at the point where I'm practicing, I get like a ring light, turn it on, make sure that my light is on point, and then I start asking, throwing the questions at myself and answering back as if the interviewer was in front of me. At that point, I'm looking at how well I'm smiling, not smiling too much, not smiling less than I should. I look at how my body language, how I'm throwing my hands around, how I sound. I play it back and listen to how confident I was when answering those questions. Sometimes when you hear yourself speak, then you know, no, this one no enter. Oh. Nobody's going to believe this. Or when you hear yourself speak, you're like, oh yeah, I think I'm getting there. So it's always very helpful. And when I'm in that interview and they start throwing those questions that I've practiced to me, it just flows because it's like I've been there, done that, and I'm doing it again. So that's something that has been very helpful for me. And I just wanted to add that. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ife, for that. That's really helpful.
No worries. Welcome.
Oh, so my goodness. Ah, okay, sorry, my system just froze. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes,
we
we
can hear
can.
you.
We can.
Okay, all right. Thank you. So, can
Yeah,
you
and
hear audio?
we're here for the
Yes.
for the
Okay,
Yes.
good. So, let me just take it a little bit back. So, let me give a bit of context here. So, this is an interview prep with someone who was applying for the role of Salesforce and NetSuite system administrator. That was what the person was applying for. And again, I'll be giving a bit of narration as we go along. So we just started from the very basics, right? And let's see how that goes.
How are you?
I'm doing very good.
Is it loud enough?
It's nice to have you here, and we're here
Yes.
for the
Thank you.
interview for the role of the junior systems administrator, Salesforce and NetSuite. So, can we get to know who EVA is, please?
Thank you so much, Mr. Michael, for that. um, so you already know my name, and as you can also see from my resume, I'm a Salesforce certified administrator and business analyst with over 15 super badges on Trailhead, and I'm also a triple star ranger on Trailhead. I have worked as a project coordinator, supporting and working with the project manager on project delivery. And from there on, I started my career in Salesforce as an administrator, a Salesforce administrator, then quickly moved on to also working as a Salesforce business analyst. I currently
work as a Salesforce administrator at Manifest and Company. And in my experience so far as a Salesforce professional, working on projects using the agile methodologies, I have had the opportunity to work in different areas, which includes requirement gathering, analyzing these requirements, and converting them to functional requirements, that would help the business in solutioning and implementing these solutions for the business. And based on the requirements that I have been gathered. I've also been involved in the creation of validation rules. I've also been involved in automating business processes through workflow rules and process builder flows. I've also created custom objects, custom fields, and also customize standard objects with custom fields, including using formula and some roll-up summary fields. Now, in my day-to-day activities as a Salesforce administrator, I have been involved in tasks like the creation of new users. I've created and also managed profiles and security settings. I've also been involved in resolving tickets that are logged by different business users, which generally range from validity access requests, data upload requests, or even general functional issues like syncing with other applications. And that's what brings me here today and why I'm excited to learn more about this opportunity. Thank you.
Sorry, I was on mute. I was talking on mute. So I was saying that that clip started from 9 minutes 35 seconds and it ended at 12 minutes 51 seconds. That's about how many minutes? Just roughly. Anybody?
3 to 4 minutes.
3 to 4 minutes. Thank you. Okay. And what did we ask? Did anybody hear from the beginning? I said, let's meet.
Tell me about yourself.
Yeah, tell me about yourself. Took over 3 minutes. And don't forget everything she said. Now, I'm really glad that, this is not hoax, right? This was recorded January 21, 2024. Okay. And Efe, who is here, was on that call. Philip, who is here, was on that call. Let's hear Efe's response. And I was on that call.
Thank you very much, EVA, for that intro. So, Efe, what are your thoughts with that intro?
Yeah, so I was a bit distracted. Someone was calling me, but the little that I heard, first of all, when you started, you are on an interview and someone says, "Oh, let's meet you," or tell us about yourself. Before you got to that interview, you have sent them your resume.
Yes.
They have seen your resume. Obviously, they have your resume in front of them, but they still asked you, tell us about yourself. Don't tell them, as you can see on my resume. Don't tell them you already know my name.
Okay.
You might not mean it, you might not mean it to sound off-put, but those kind of statements are not really. You might be sitting in an interview tomorrow with maybe a black person, for instance, and we easily pick insult in small things.
Okay.
A white person might not read meanings to it, and guess what? You might meet a person or a white person tomorrow that they say any little thing they catch the sub. So don't say things like that. Just they've asked you to introduce yourself. Just go ahead to introduce yourself. Don't tell them they can, as you can see. Obviously, they have the resume, but they still asked you. So why not tell them that everything about me is in my resume? Please, can you read it? Or did you read it? Sure, you get. So please try to avoid statements like that.
Okay.
Then I was a bit distracted. I can't really remember what you said following that, but when I picked up again, I was hearing you talk about things like I've created field, I've created custom objects. No, that's not what, or for you to even be an administrator, you have it on your resume. Obviously, you have created a field before.
Okay.
Do you understand? Those are not the kind of things that you want to be telling a VP for that matter. Do you understand? If you were talking to, if it was HR interview now, that one might not even know what you're saying, but you are giving a lot of things that you have done. She will sound excited. But a VP, you want to be sounding more business-like.
Okay.
And things that you have done to help businesses to transform their current systems to where they are today. Do you understand? So avoid all those very basic admin things that you have done, even though it's a junior admin, but let them be excited that this person that we're employing as a junior admin is a big catch because she knows what she's doing. So from the little that I got, I just feel like that answer can be better than the way you answered it. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Ife, and
Yeah.
you are being very
Thank you.
generous, Ife. That's
As I
you are being,
said, I
yeah,
missed like the
you are being
middle,
very
a lot of the
generous.
middle. So, but
Okay.
from those ones I heard, that's what I
All
was
right.
saying. I'm not sure the other things that you now
Yeah.
said that maybe you should have triggered me.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't hear
You
them.
only made it sound as good as just the part you heard. So I forgive you as well.
Okay, so Efe is one of our seasoned mentors here at MB Consult. Efe is a Salesforce business analyst, right, where she works. And if it has not changed, last time we talked, Efe, you can correct me, you are the only one that has proper Salesforce knowledge or expertise on this side of the border in your organization. Is that not the case? Is that
Yes,
right? Is that
up until this week, anyways.
up until this week? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. So let's hear from Philip. Okay.
Philip,
Okay.
Philip, you're on mute if you're saying something.
Sorry. It always takes me time to mute.
Yeah.
So, yeah. First I'll say the first 30, 45 seconds was good for me. But the intro, like if he said, so when you're talking to a BP, we should all know this. BP doesn't have time. I've been to many interviews that they've not even checked your CV. They just pass the distance, just say, oh, okay. It's not even the hiring manager. So you went far to give hiring manager information to VP. He doesn't need that. VP doesn't even know you. They say, we are seeing your CV. They may not even have time. Maybe I just do three. Just say, okay, just send me their address. Let me meet them. So at that level, you have to be blank. Like, this guy doesn't know me. So that key statement of saying, "Oh, I've seen in my CV," I think it's not really right. It's not out of no respect. But the fact is that the guy doesn't have time. As a VP, he's busy reviewing work, approval, getting business. So he's not going to say there's not HR person. He can't do an HR work. HR has already vet you and said, okay, this person is fit. Okay, let me meet this person. It doesn't need to go through your CV. It feels someone has done that job. And the hiring manager is honest to know, okay, are you fit for this job? So you should know who you are. That's why I give you that pre-assumption that this person is a data person. When you went through success story is what you should be telling the guy, right? High level, not too details, right? Oh, I engaged in a project that will involve, recently I did a project that involved data migration. Right? I say tie to data. Let your story or manage as a project manager or I manage a project that moving data from here that we involve cleaning the data. You want to high level and talk to what he knows, right? Oh, using Salesforce, we use this tool, and then this. At that level too, you want to connect with him. You probably like traveling, doing new things. And you also buga, let me use that word. Yeah, I like the fact you say you have trailheads, double rangers, that's good. Maybe years of experience. That's excellent, right? So those are key things for me. And it was long. You at a
Okay.
point will just become boring, right? And
Okay.
like I said, it's a BP. Keep it short, keep it high level, stories,
Okay.
pointer. It guy is a bullet point person,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Get to know him, this. It sticks faster. So I come here, I just say, my name is Philip Etin. Okay, I'm a Salesforce this, I'm a this, and this, and this. I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. Bullet point, and then you keep it. Max, too much. 1 minute, 10 seconds. Max, you just keep it 1 minute and I'm done. It sticks to the
Okay.
guy. Guy can remember you. When you start saying object, this and that, the guy's like, what's this guy explaining? Okay, I've heard you. The guy get lost.
Okay.
And it's
Thank you very much,
boring.
Philip.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So that's Philip's response. So for those of you that don't know Philip, Philip is a chartered accountant. He's been in the financial industry for over a decade. He's worked in two of the big four, right? He's currently a consultant and he's also a Salesforce professional. That's who Philip is. That was Philip's response. Now, let's hear what Michael Boyo said.
Absolutely on point. If that was a disaster, in my opinion, right? Max 90 seconds.
Okay.
It's not a time to tell stories, right? It's a time to sell yourself. It's called the elevator pitch. Elevator pitch shouldn't be more than 90 seconds, right? 90 seconds, right? So let me introduce myself to you. So
Okay.
I'm a multidisciplinary.
So hold on. So let's look at the time, right? 20 minutes, 9 seconds. If you want to take note of that, okay? And let's see when he finishes.
IT specialist with over 2 decades of cognitive work experience. I've had the rare privilege of working within several domains within the IT space, ranging but not limited to project management, business analysis, system administration, and very recently within the Salesforce ecosystem, where I've had again the rare privilege to be part of transformational projects, getting businesses from where they are to where they need to be. As you would know, with the advent of COVID, a lot of organizations were caught napping because they couldn't adapt to the new technology landscape. At Manifest and Company, where my role currently is a system administrator, I'm part of a managed services portfolio that helps businesses manage their ongoing Salesforce ecosystem. I'm more than happy to tell you more about myself as we go on in this interview. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you.
Okay.
That was 21:09. How many minutes or how many seconds?
Exactly one.
Exactly 1 minute. Did I miss anything? Was it too short? Again, there's no right or wrong, but would you rather spend 1 minute or spend 3 minutes or 4 minutes when you are meeting a vice president of an organization and the interview is just about 30, 45 minutes? So let's get feedback.
It's high level.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Straight to the point, very concise. Like in that few minutes or few seconds, I know what you're doing and how you're helping your organization.
Thank you.
Yeah, I also think that it makes your audience want to ask for more.
Exactly. There's the concept of do more with less, which is what I preach. If I ask you a question now and you tell me everything you're going to tell me in the whole course of the interview, so when I ask the next question, are you just going to repeat yourself all over again? Keep things in your back pocket. You don't have to say everything. If somebody wants to know more, let them ask. Thank you for that follow-up question. I was hoping you would ask. And then you go ahead. Make sense? Any other commentary? I will try and flip. So while I try to flip back to the PowerPoint presentation, these are interview preps that we actually now have recorded, right? And what we're doing So are we? So let me just one sec. You should. Are you seeing the PowerPoint presentation again now? You should, right? You should.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, okay. So that was what we're talking about. Tell me about yourself. So we have curated, a bunch of these interview prep sessions, which is now going to be one of the offerings within MB Consult that people can subscribe to at a reasonable cost. And I can assure you that this is, I don't want to speak for myself, but for those few people that have had one-on-one with me, some of you are on this call, right? I think this is something that would be of value, that you can actually go in, just like you binge watch Netflix movies on a weekend. You have an interview coming up next week, and you're like, you know what? If I go to Michael Boyo, he may or may not have the time to, work with me. Why can't I subscribe to these videos and I can watch them in my own time, even if I have an interview at a minute, at a day's notice? That's what we are saying here. And you can have access to those videos at a reasonable cost. I won't say more than that for now. We'll definitely send communication out in the group at some point, when, I would say that definitely in the course of the week, those videos will be ready, and would, send out an announcement within the forum, so that for as many as may want to take advantage of this, yeah, you can definitely do that. You'll be able to, to get it on the mbconsult.ca website. Now, any commentary on everything up until now? Because now we are wrapping things up. Anyone? Question, comment, feedback? Okay. Why are you interested in this position? You want to show that you understand the role. There are times people respond to questions and your response is not in tandem with the job description. You cannot do that. We have series of questions that we go through, which are just purely these common interview questions. How do you answer them? I literally tell people, go and write them down, type it out. Because when I ask you, why do you think you're a good fit for this position? You tell me whatever you tell me. Then I ask you again, why do you think you are, why should I hire you for this role? Those are two different questions. But what I've observed is that if I didn't ask those two different questions for you, your response will have been the same for the two of them. And they are two unique, distinct, different questions. Right? So those are the kind of things that all those typical HR questions, right? People go into interviews, first stage. People tell me they don't even go past that phone call or screening call, just because you just think, okay, they're just going to ask me, why did you apply for the role? Why do you like our organization? They can take it a step further and say, tell me exactly, why do you think you are a good fit for this role? If you cannot answer that question by literally exemplifying the content of the job description, so that you end up being or sounding like a square peg for a square hole, then you're not going to get past that stage. And I just hear people ranting. There was another interview prep that I was thinking of bringing up here. And after the lady answered the tell me about yourself question, she spent about 5 minutes answering that. And I just let her finish. And then I now asked, I said, what was the key thing in the JD? And she said the key thing in the JD was all about collaboration. And I said, how long did it take you before I heard the word collaboration in your 5-minute response? It was literally almost at the minute 4. And I said, I was already lost, because you were just telling me a lot of things that I didn't need to hear. And then I now gave her my own version of it, again, in less than 2 minutes. And collaboration came up within the first 15, 20 seconds. So you have to be deliberate. Your strengths and weaknesses, be honest and constructive, and then use the STAR method to respond to questions. Not tell me about yourself anyways, but behavioral questions. Next week, we'll get a little bit into the STAR approach, but it's just something that I know most of us are familiar with. I will just maybe take one example next week when we meet, and then practice for natural and adaptable responses. I heard if we say something like she does practice by herself, stands in front of the mirror and records herself. Is your tone high? Is your pitch low? You all of that. Are you focused, laser focused on your interviewer? You don't look away when you are interviewing. You look straight into the camera. Eye contact. You don't want to look like somebody who is hiding something. And that's why, to be honest with you, I can't be on an interview call and somebody will say, oh, I'm boring, or oh, I'm not hearing what you are saying, or I don't know. They will even be the one to tell me, tone it down. Because I want you to know that I'm very passionate about the role. Right? And that's where we're gonna, cut it today, if I'm not wrong. So again, call to action. Feel free to go book an interview prep if you have an interview coming up. That's the call to action for this week. And you can do that at mbconsult.ca, or tag me in the group, or tag, other of our mentors here. There's Efe, there's Philip, there's John. John is in Europe. He's into Microsoft Dynamics. He's a consultant. He's been on it over a decade, right? There are different streams, different mentors with different, knowledge areas, and we're all here to help, right? And, by doing that, we are saying that we're going to master common questions, craft winning responses. Winning responses would help you. I had a lady. I'm hoping one of these days I'm going to be able to bring her up so that she can come and tell the story herself. I kid you not, Philip was on that call, and I told Philip, I said, I'm sorry, Philip, this lady is not prepared for this interview. I said, what are we going to do? This was on a Saturday. The interview was on a Monday. And I said, Philip, I don't like what I'm hearing. Philip said, what are we going to do? I said, you know what, Philip, we only have 1 hour. You know what? And I asked the lady, I said, if you don't mind, I will ask you the questions. I will respond. You have the recording. Go and do anything you want to do with it. And that was exactly what happened. After the interview on Monday, I sent her a message, how did it go? She said that she thinks it went well. She sent me a message on Friday that same week that she got the job. And I said, which job? She said, the job I did interview prep for. I said, really? But I was on a call, so I couldn't talk to her. Later that night, I called her and I said, what happened? And she said that she literally listened to the video recording all of Saturday, all of Sunday, into the meeting on Monday. Most of the questions we had treated on the interview prep were questions that she was asked, and she literally regurgitated everything I had said. I will bring her here one of these days so that I'm not lying. I don't have anything to gain by lying. She said, even where I coughed, she coughed. Where I paused, she paused. I said, are you for real? Who does that? Right? That also happened. She got the job. So what we are saying here is proven techniques, enhance your presence, get insider insight, personalized interview coaching. So I can't say more than this. We are here to help. I tell people when I prepare for interview prep, it's as if I'm the one going for the interview. Anyway, that's where we're going to end it today. I don't know any last words from anyone before we close the call. Yes.
I think my last call is thank you for the tips.
Thank you. Thank you, Ade. Always. Funny man.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you very much. People say first impression matters, and I think I've gotten the very best impression attending this. I had other section I was supposed to attend, but knowing what they have been saying about you in Black Force, the class you are, I said no. I would have joined since, but it's never late. I've been here. I'm really impressed. Thank you very much for making out time, because when I learned about you doing CV and interview prep, I have personally gone into your profile and I've heard you say that you are not ready for resume and interview except you want to have a career clarity. Okay, resume that you said you are not ready for review. You don't have that time. So thank you for at least going into this space. I'm very sure a lot of people will benefit from it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ofonime. And all these sessions, once we are done, they will all be uploaded on our YouTube channel. So even if you want to go back and watch the ones that we had done prior, if I'm not wrong, I think this is the sixth in the series. And we'll continue to do it as God grants us grace and opportunity. And for me, I'm just glad to give back to the community. And if you need to consult to take advantage of some of the services that we offer, please do not hesitate to do that. I think this will be the end of the presentation, and I look forward to hanging out with you guys here again next week Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Mr.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.